This is Maomao, one of the most beloved female protagonists, but she's also an insufferable brat. This is what anime protagonists usually look like. They bend over backwards for family, an optimistic shoujo lead who blinks once and suddenly 7 male leads moan. But then there's Maomao. She's rude, she's blunt, not even the 10th most beautiful character in her own anime, but she's celebrated nonetheless. This video isn't about why Maomao is secretly nice, because she isn't. It's about why characters like Maomao work, and what that says about what we, as humans, actually value more. In the Apothecary Diaries light novel Volume 9, we get a strangely funny but also kind of sad glimpse of what Maomao's life is actually like. So one day Maomao goes for an early lunch with her 2 medical assistant friends, Yao and Nanin. She leads them to a place she already knows well. The shopkeeper of that place, a woman in her mid-40s, immediately recognizes Maomao. Well, it turns out that she used to be one of Maomao's customers back when Maomao was still working around the pleasure district. But then, the shopkeeper gives Maomao a stink smile, Attack on Titan smile, and Maomao instantly realizes she messed up. She's about to get exposed. So here, we learn something important about Maomao. Maomao was infamous. Let's put it this way. When Maomao once told the 3 sisters that she finally had friends close to her own age, Pyre nearly cried from happiness. This story shows why this is your usual Maomao. These are some people Maomao hung out with. A pragmatic lady who sells girls like their cakes, a certified man-hater courtesan named Joka, a mysterious scheming high-ranking consort, and Sholan. Though it was more like Maomao keeping a pet, honestly. And then you add traumas, and you get Maomao. And speaking of personality, Maomao has a lot of it. A lot. This is a girl who worked alongside the same man for 2 full seasons, internally referred him as Quack Doctor, and never bothered once to learn his name. This is a girl who happily duped her manager to get what she wanted, and also evaluated his junk as so-so without hesitation. And also the show never hides this. From episode 1, Maomao is described as curious with a boundless thirst for knowledge, and with just a smidge of justice within. Bro, there's no power of friendship mentioned. She looked at the power of friendship and basically went, oh yeah, so instead of my head in the chopping block, it'll be our head. Nah, if we're being shallow, this is already enough for the fight. Ooh, Maomao roasted people, based protagonist, queen behavior. But that's not why people love the Apothecary Diaries. Come on bro, this isn't solo leveling. If Maomao were just a turd, she'd be exhausting. Of course, funny for a while, sure, but nowadays we already have plenty of morally grey protagonists who are just straight up hated. Galadriel, the queen of this channel, is one big example. So why doesn't Maomao end up like that? To understand that, we need to stop looking at what Maomao does and start looking at how the story chooses to present her. I've been reading the Apothecary Diaries light novels for years now, and one thing that genuinely surprised me when I watched the anime was just how different Maomao felt. Not in what she does, but in how she comes across. To show you what I mean, I want to quote a few lines from Volume 5 of the novel. So, sometime after the events that the anime Season 2 covers, Maomao receives a patient, a very young, very malnourished, poisoned girl. But there's one problem here. They haven't paid. So a few days later, when the girl's older sister comes to see Maomao, here are some things Maomao said to her. Did you bring my money? You don't have it? Well, that's fine. You can just sell her. It's probably not too late if we start training her now. If you come to her with nothing to offer but your own haggard body, she'll probably slap a collar on you, so you don't run away. From just these lines, you can already piece together what's happening. The family is desperate, they can't afford treatment, and knowing that Maomao has connections to the Fair Decree's house, the older sister is preparing to sell herself. Just to be clear here, Maomao is being intentionally cruel here. But still, this is Maomao at her sharpest, much sharper than anything the anime shows. Even the slap in episode 4 is tame compared to this. And part of why it hits so different in the novel is really simple actually. There are fewer sensory cues. There's no voice acting, no exaggerated expressions, no visual shorthand to soften the blow. Sometimes all you get is a sentence, and how sinister it sounds is entirely up to your imagination. Now, compare that to how the anime handles Maomao. Take episode 21, for example. When Lee Haku suddenly calls out to her, in the novel, Maomao's internal monologue is just one sentence. I just knew he was a big dumb mutt. And that's it. In the anime though, this moment is framed completely different. The timing, the expression, the animation, it turns what could have been a genuinely nasty thought into something playful, almost cartoonish. And also, this is Cat Maomao. This is Stinky Maomao. This is Maomao looking at shonen's love fans. Especially in season 1, the anime constantly wraps Maomao's bluntness in humor. It gives her exaggerated reactions, chibi moments, visual gags, little cautions that absorb the impact of the sometimes diabolical things she says and thinks. And that framing matters a lot in the Apothecary Diaries anime, because they weren't changing Maomao's personality. It changed how easy she is to be around. A funny way to see why Maomao often suddenly morphs into a cat. It's just a coping mechanism, bro. If I know that if I messed up, it's between I'm gonna get sold by this granny or my neck is gone, I would morph into a cat myself. Which leads to our next topic. The palace in the Apothecary Diaries isn't soft. It's political, hierarchical. Women die from cosmetics, consorts lose attendants to poison, children are leveraged, servants are expendable. And episode 1 proves it, that not even Jinshi and Gyokuyo, who are often framed as kind-hearted, are softies. So in episode 1, Maomao saves Princess Lingli from lead poisoning. So as a reward, she gets promoted to serve Lady Gyokuyo as her lady-in-waiting. Sounds nice. A promotion! Hooray! Except Jinshi appoints her as Gyokuyo's poison tester, which basically means if someone tries to kill the consort, Mama dies first. I repeat, she saves a princess and gets promoted to die first. But here's the important part. The story doesn't frame Jinshi or Gyokuyo as villains for this, because in that world, survival and power aren't abstract ideas. They're daily calculations. And even then, there's sympathy. The trio worry about Maomao constantly. They hesitate to let her work out of pity. Gyokuyo looks worried every time Maomao tastes a dish. The system is harsh, of course, but the people inside it, they aren't cartoon monsters. These characters are such a great portrayal of humans' adaptability. And that's what makes it work. Jinshi adapts with charm and possessiveness. Gyokuyo adapts with her smile and building a fortress of trust. Some adapt by building up resentment. And Maomao adapts with blunt honesty before she gets stuck on deeper problems than she would like to. And when we see how someone survives their environment, we understand them. When we understand them, we root for them. That's why we cheer not just for Maomao but for other characters too. It feels grounded, it feels reasonable, it feels human. And you know who displayed this the most? It's not Maomao, it's Jinshi. Honestly, at this point, Jinshi is more of a typical protagonist compared to Maomao. We don't see it at first, but he has those protagonist quality from early on. Let's get back to episode 3 to see what I mean. Remember Lady Fuyo? The concubine that Maomao is pretty sure she faked her sleepwalk so she can keep her chastity? In the novel volume 9, Maomao finally gets her answer. The answer is yes. Maomao finally confirms that she was faking it when Jinshi meets Lady Fuyo again with her husband. But not only that, Maomao also finds out that not only Jinshi knew what Fuyo did, he actually pulled some strings to make sure that Fuyo and her husband would end up safely in Anan. It's rather difficult since Fuyo's husband is a great soldier who is obviously needed in the front line, but Jinshi did it. But Maomao has mixed feelings of it. In Maomao's eyes, how Jinshi does things really reminds her of someone. A person with boundless compassion that, even though is a genius and a legend, ended up in poverty. And she hates it. She hates the idea that this man, a prince, keeps helping others when he knows well he doesn't need to. until it stretches him thin sometimes. So Mamo makes sure he knows what she thinks. That night, Mamo cabins him and tell him wholeheartedly, "As someone with power, you should use people, use me." And you know what Jinshi asked Maomao? "Slap me, like you slapped the lady in the Crystal Pavilion back then." Is this a Titanic reference? Well, that's a tangent. Okay, back to the topic. I think Maomao missed something really important here. Mama can say what she wants about Jinshi's altruism, but what she missed is a simple math. Jinshi can afford to be benevolent. Mamo can't. Jinshi is a prince. When Jinshi helps someone and it backfires, he absorbs the damage and can still be fine and dandy. But for Maomao, just like what happened in Season 1, Episode 19, it nearly costed her life. But also one thing we know about Maomao, when she can afford the price for it, she'll do it. That doesn't mean she's an idealist, far from it. Those decisions come from a calculating mind, from pragmatism, from honesty. If she can pay the cost, she will. If she can't, she won't pretend. In other words, be real, dude. And combine it with other reasons, how the anime makes her fun while providing cushions for her bluntness, and the cause and effect of her choices. The result is a character that not only fun to watch, grounded enough to empathize, but also a character that audiences can look up to. That's rare. Very rare. This is rare and level character, man. A character you can laugh at, laugh with, but also think, man, that's neat. But you know the saddest thing of all this? All that brilliance, all that knightly knowledge from Rokushokan still gets rejected by the Emperor just because of chest size.